Stop. Oh, got it.
Okay, we go.
Hello and welcome to the Sorry You're in My Seat podcast. This is a weekly show dedicated to all things movie and film. I'm your host, Aaron. Each and every week, I'll try and guide this vessel through the space of movies on this intergalactic road trip that we're taking. And every now and again, I fall asleep at the wheel and I hand over to my co-host, James.
Hello.
Who's a fellow film enthusiast.
Explorer.
Of the movie realms. And also, we picked up a hitchhiker, Sam.
Movies?
Who we're not quite sure at the moment whether he's a serial killer, but he's got a bag of booze and he's along for the ride.
It's a party now, my friend.
Good stuff. We were laughing at the beginning because I pressed record early, so during the intro music you might have heard us talking. That's what was going on there.
Yeah.
How has your week been, James?
It's been a tough week. Dentist.
Oh, dear.
No one likes the dentist.
You want to talk about it?
Well, yeah, I've been scheduled for some root canals, but I do remember thinking I didn't know this dentist. It was an emergency appointment. And he knocked me out. And I remember suspiciously thinking...
What did you say to him?
I was going to say, for the operation.
Sorry, he numbed it up. And he was talking about when I have the root canal, I'll have to be knocked out. And I remember thinking, I'm placing a lot of trust on this gentleman whom I don't know. And I was just thinking, that's a really weird situation you put yourself in, where you trust a stranger completely with your lifeless body to do whatever he wants.
You kind of just trust the paycheck, don't you, there?
What's really... I obviously didn't know you was going to tell that story, but just links into something funny. Years ago, I had an operation by Dr. Jibril, and now that I work for the NHS, his father works for the NHS, and I said, oh, your son, Dr. Giblets, did my operation, and that's not his name. It's Dr. Jibril. Yeah. Oh, bless you. So you got to go back for more.
I have. And I've been told that we will be doing a podcast when I can't feel my lower jaw.
Oh, yes, we will.
When you drooling all over the microphone.
To be fair, good concept for a horror film. A dentist that removes, does things to you and you're sleeping, and when you wake up...
You mean like the film The Dentist?
Oh, is there a film?
Yeah.
And that's just your film straight on.
And there's a short film starring the guy who played Pinhead from Hellraiser.
Doug Bradley.
Doug Bradley plays a dentist where Charlie Boorman, did the TV show with Ewan McGregor with him around the world.
Yeah.
There's a short film where Charlie Boorman is on his table and that guy sews his mouth together. That kind of stuff. It's a short horror film. But it's all shot through the eyes of Charlie Boorman's character from when he gets into the chair.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
so there you go.
So my idea's gone.
I think that's available on YouTube if anyone wants to watch it. But how's your week been, Sam?
It's been all right. Back at work. That's about it. I'm afraid there's not really anything going on.
You look a bit tired. You look like you've been up really late.
How late?
Until about 3 a.m.
Wow. Doing what?
I don't know. I'm not even going to entertain that question.
I had a late night. I did have a late night last night. Wine was involved.
Good stuff. We haven't got a script for today. We're just going to talk and we're going to discuss a few things. But it's probably worth us recapping on last week's episode because if you didn't miss it, it's an opportunity to go back and listen to that because all of our shows are available on Podbean, but you can find them on Spotify, iTunes, anywhere really that you look for your podcast shows.
Yeah, to be fair, I've not found an app yet that hasn't got it. So
good stuff. So you can find us on there and listen to last week's episode, which was on movie trailers. We discussed 10 trailers at quite varying lengths, didn't we?
We did, yeah. I really enjoyed it as well.
We did. I've seen one of them since.
Yes, I have. Yeah.
I was going to say, one of them came out and we saw it.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that as one of the main features. That's The Predator. And also, last week you came up with a confession. You told us that in our 14-year relationship, you've been lying to me about watching the Lethal Weapon films, in which case you hadn't seen any of them.
I did. Yeah, I did, yes.
But in the meantime, in one night, you watched all 4 to redeem yourself.
Well, do you not feel I redeem myself by watching all 4 in one night?
I have watched the 4 Die Hard movies before they did the 5th one. I watched all 4 of them in a day once, and that was a long day. Oh, you did that with me, didn't you?
I did that with you, yeah.
And I've also done it with the 4 Alien films before, up to the Winona Ryder film. I did it there. So it's a long day watching 4 films in one day. So yeah, well done.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
And then again, you and I have also done the triple at the cinema.
Yeah, we watched Lion, Jackie, and
Trainspotting
2 in one day.
Great day.
It was a good day. We could have done a 4th as well. There was time to do a 4th.
We went to Subway instead, though.
Yeah. And also, James got started on by a hobo man, and I left him.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yeah. So outside the cinema, and this hobo just came up and started on James, and I was like, "See ya." And I was just stood behind the hobo, just like, "James, you got this."
I think he was egging him on. He's got money, do him.
He was rubbing the hobo's back, going, "Go on, son, you've got this."
Paid him to do it. So let's timestamp this week in film because some news has come out this week. We've seen our first releases of the Joker movie. Joaquin Phoenix taking taking the helm of the movie, playing the Joker in an origin story. We don't know much about it. We don't know the plot synopsis. So we know that it's directed by Todd Phillips, who I'm a fan of his comedy. He did Old School, which I loved.
They're very good.
I loved Old School. But he's also known for the Hangover movies. So where this has come from, him directing and co-writing the Joker movie.
It's come at a weird time as well for DC, because obviously another big news this week, Henry Cavill is no longer going to be playing Superman.
And so has
Affleck.
Ben Affleck.
Affleck's pulled out, hasn't he? Yeah.
So they're left with this weird situation because this Joker film was always supposed to be a standalone, because Jared Leto has signed on for several films to be the Joker in this universe, but this universe is kind of gone, which is really weird because Wonder Woman has set herself up with this phenomenal series that she could go anywhere with, and it's put it in just such a weird situation. Also, like The Flash in the DC, what was it, Justice League? So I wonder if they're gonna salvage those two characters and maybe
The Flash,
Aquaman comes out obviously soon.
Yeah, Aquaman's out, but The Flash has been rewritten, and now it's on hold. So that film's not on its way anytime soon. Wonder Woman 2 is coming out that we know of, and obviously off the back of the first one, incredibly successful. Justice League tanked. Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill walking away from those two lead roles. It's not been unknown for a character to come back after they said they're leaving.
Yeah.
So money talks, or maybe it's one of the things we don't know. And hopefully, if the good enough script comes along, it might entice them to come back. I can understand why both of them are walking away, because they are getting muck thrown at them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it's a really good time to just, because to me, Batman vs Superman rushed. It was a film that everyone wanted to see, made huge money basically on the name alone. Justice League, they rushed too much into it. Marvel took 10 years to get into their basic end game, and DC kind of tried to push it through quicker.
It was literally a couple of years as well, wasn't it?
I think, because this one started, it was Man of Steel, Batman versus Superman, and then Justice League. I just think now would be a good time to maybe salvage Wonder Woman's character, Gal Gadot. Maybe have her play the same Wonder Woman, keep her storyline the same, but kind of just remove her and put her in a new universe where you start again. Possibly, I don't know if there's. I just think now is a good time for a clean break in a film series that isn't particularly working.
Yeah, the thing with DC is, and Henry Cavill's character is Superman and Ben Affleck. Them two, I think, have acted really well in both of the films.
No, you can't take that away from them.
The films have suffered from some poor editing, not the greatest directing, which again, Justice League, we can't criticise due to the personal tragedy that Zack Snyder went through during the final production of it. But just like you say, DC films on a whole just seem to be churning out this dark feel to the films that I don't think people are that interested in.
But why do you think they're doing that? Because the majority of people just go, maybe they're just trying to not do what Marvel are doing.
Yes.
But why would you not, as a film creator, director or writer or whatever you do, why would you not follow what works?
No, you see, the reason I think they did it was because of Christopher Nolan's success with The Dark Knight. Because that was quite dark, quite gritty. They saw that it kind of rebirthed Batman, because before that it was Batman and Robin, and Michael Schumacher had turned him into a giant. Michael Schumacher?
Joel Schumacher.
Yeah.
Michael Schumacher, that Ferrari driver.
That guy.
Yeah, kind of drove it into the ground. Christopher Nolan set in a realistic world. The Joker wasn't someone who fell into a vat of acid. It was heavily suggested he was a war veteran.
Yeah.
And I just think they saw that the dark seemed to work, especially with Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale. That they seem to understand like the mythos of Batman. And I just think they went, right, dark sells, do it.
But I think the tonal shift in this one, Gotham and those kind of, I don't know, there's the whole graphics to the DC films that we're seeing now off the back of the Nolan films. Tonally, I don't think work.
No, I agree with that. I'm just saying that's what I think they thought. Because the one film that didn't do it, and it's a film that when you look at superheroes now, they never do it. Wonder Woman. I loved Wonder Woman. I thought it was great. I really liked it. I wasn't expecting to like it. There is a scene when she gets out of a trench and she runs at the bad guys.
One of the best scenes in the film.
Exactly. But why does she do it? She does it because it's the right thing to do. There's no personal glory in it for her. There's no... The objective isn't on the other side. In fact, she's supposed to ignore it. And that's the first time in a long time you've just seen someone do the right thing. For no personal gain. I really liked that. It's like old school Christopher Reeve Superman, who would just do things because it was the right thing to do. And I loved
absolutely.
That.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, back on with the Joker storyline then. So we know nothing of the film other than it's an origin film. Even the character name of the Joker is made up, does not appear in the comic books. Have you heard what he's called?
No.
He's called Arthur Fleck.
Okay.
That name does sound familiar.
Yeah, well, if you look at the initials, Affleck. Is it a nod to Batman being played by Ben Affleck?
Maybe. I doubt it.
Well, it's just nice and funny.
Yeah.
But the stills of Joaquin Phoenix, I think, look great. I love Joaquin Phoenix.
So do I.
I mean, I put it down in, I think, episode 2 as like, this guy follows a film from the start to the end. He's always got that brilliant character arc. He does films that interest him. Okay, he's done a few films that are a bit wishy-washy, but on the whole, if you look at Gladiator, Walk the Line, he's never really here, that one. He's just a great actor. So I'm really intrigued.
Looks like gaunt in the stills.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's got that 80s feel to it. And also it's shifting the Batman timeline because obviously Joaquin Phoenix is in his mid to late 40s. This film is set in the timeline where Thomas Wayne's still alive because Alec Baldwin had signed on to be Thomas Wayne, but he's moved away from the project due to a conflict in filming, scheduling issues.
Yeah.
So he's been replaced. So it's shot in a timeline when Bruce Wayne is still alive. Thomas Wayne is still alive.
Alec Baldwin also a good choice as well for.
Well, Alec Baldwin was originally lined up to play Batman in the Tim Burton film.
Cool.
And when you look at Beetlejuice, who would you rather took, Beetlejuice or Alec Baldwin? He went with Beetlejuice. But Michael Keaton did a great job there. So, yeah, if you haven't seen those, look at the Joker stills. There is a video as well, but with no sound to it. But it does look interesting. It's, I can't wait. Robert De Niro's in it as well. We should say that. Robert De Niro is in it as a TV personality, I believe.
It's a strange one because the short video that there is, it doesn't show you anything. Like, he doesn't act like the Joker overly. He doesn't really do anything. He's just...
I don't think we will see.
A cigarette and,
he's coming out of a party. He's coming out of a party shop, isn't he?
Is he?
One of the stills you can see above the door. It's like, and he's got a carrier bag. It looks like he's just been and bought, and he's talking to a clown, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
And there's like a merry-go-round in the background that looks a bit used. Predictions, but I don't think we will see him as the Joker in the film. I think it will build to the point where he becomes what we know.
I hope not.
I hope not. I think it's
really
pure
hope
origin.
not.
I believe, I think possibly the last half an hour you might see the Joker, possibly.
Well, I'm
thinking as well, talking about very quickly, sorry, Sam, to interrupt. Warner Brothers, if you remember, before Heath Ledger died, did a fantastic job of building up the character. You only saw him through frosted pictures, that sort of thing. So I think probably
he's playing the marketing game. Shows a little tease now, get us all interested, roused up. Slowly release those images more and more throughout the next year because it comes out in October next year. So the turnaround time for this film is very short, which also suggests that it's not going to be heavily embedded with CGI and stuff. This is a character study, and the caliber of acting. Robert De Niro and Joaquin Phoenix alone. I can't wait to see them two on screen together.
You'd think for those two actors, it's got to be a good script, hasn't it? For them both to go
just to sign on.
Yeah.
Although, no, I completely agree.
It's a weird one because the Joker is a character that, regardless of where you stand on superhero films. I mean, you've got to be a superhero fan. You're always going to go watch a film about the Joker, aren't you? Like, he's one of the best characters, regardless of whether you're Marvel or DC. He's phenomenal.
No, I completely
So you're always going to want to go and see what have they done. Let's be honest. If we look at the last two Jokers before Joaquin Phoenix, Jared Leto, who wasn't interested to go, wow, look what they've done with him when he played, when he was really playing the gangster style. The time before that with Heath Ledger, where once again you went, what have they done with him here? They've done such a good job with the Joker that I think it'd be very detrimental to a director's career to now go and screw it all up.
I always wanted to see the stuff they cut out from Suicide Squad.
Me too, because it's a big thing, isn't it?
Have you heard some of the stories Jared Leto did when he was getting into character?
I did.
Where he sent
crazy,
dead rats to his colleagues. I was just like, he got into the
more
mind.
presents, didn't he? That was just mental.
I didn't mind Jared Leto as the Joker. I think that film suffered with the direction and it changed its tone and palette at the last minute, didn't it? Because we saw trailers.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden it came out with these neo, lit up trailers introducing you to the characters, and it whacked in this soundtrack which was well over the top. And I think it took a tonal shift in the last quarter. And
it was practically a rap soundtrack, wasn't it?
Yeah, and also Jared Leto didn't like the film, did he? He said, I shot 2 movies worth of scenes and I'm in the film for 10 minutes. What's going on?
I think that's what let it down is the expectation.
We can't talk about Heath Ledger's performance because it would take the full hour and hour and a half.
It
was all right. There was a rumor that this film was being kept under wraps, that this film was going to be The Dark Knight Returns.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
That was what this was going to be, because if you notice, Joaquin Phoenix has grown his hair out. So there was a rumor that this was actually going to give us that character. But
Of course, he's got it in a ponytail through the stills we've seen, hasn't he?
No, he's got it down to his shoulders. He's got it the same length as Heath Ledger's got it in, but obviously not green. And then obviously another talking point for another day. I still think Jack Nicholson is probably the best on-screen actor ever, but I'm not a fan of his Joker performance because it's not. I'll set it up, and if you want, we'll talk about this on another episode. But I don't think he plays the Joker in that.
He doesn't. He plays Jack Nicholson.
He plays Jack Nicholson as the Joker.
Jack Nicholson. No,
and that's going to anger so many people. But go back and watch it. When he transforms from the gangster into the Joker, the change is not that.
It's not.
It's not that massive.
Completely agree. I said for the best Joker is Mark Hamill from the animated series.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
By far. Wow.
So that's the Joker. Also, 2 trailers dropped. So just after we did a trailer week,
Obviously.
2 massive trailers dropped. First one being Mary Poppins. So we've all seen this now around this table. Mary Poppins trailer. Emily Blunt picking up where Julie Andrews left off with the Mary Poppins. Does anyone want to take the helm of this one?
Confession time.
You're not seeing the original?
I've never seen Mary Poppins.
Oh my God, Jet Li was great in it.
At least you're being truthful.
Wasn't it a prequel to Jurassic Park?
Yeah, I can't remember. Did it come in between New Hope and Return? It came around there, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I've never really picked it up.
Well, I'll set it up for you then.
Okay.
So Mary Poppins, the original, happened just after the Ice Age.
Yeah.
And like I say, dinosaurs had finished roaming the world. Okay. And Samuel Jackson plays a velociraptor.
Wow. We're talking Velociraptor, obviously.
No. Just he just does the movements. Yeah.
Basically,
is he in a suit or does he just walk around just flapping his arms?
Both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To be fair, and then what happens is Mary Poppins gets sent back in time by Skynet to kill John Connor.
Okay.
And she's got a machine gun in an umbrella, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then she passes a law where crime is legal for one night in America.
Well, this sounds like my sort of film.
Yeah. And that's Mary Poppins. So the sequel.
I've got to say, the sequel doesn't really show that.
The continuity in the sequel doesn't look great, does it?
No, it
it's set in London.
London.
There's a lot of actors. He's gone.
We've lost him. Bye, James.
I totally watched that film.
There's a lot of people in this one go, Mary Poppins. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not really that bothered about it.
I thought.
Yeah, me neither.
I'll go watch it for Angela Lansbury. She wrote.
I don't remember loving Mary Poppins, but when we watched that trailer, there was a tinge of nostalgia that got me a little.
Yeah, again, it's got that feel of the kind of 60s classic, hasn't it? And a lot of veteran moviegoers do say Mary Poppins is one of the all-time greatest films ever made. I'll rewatch it before I watch this sequel. I like Emily Blunt as well. I really like Emily Blunt, so I'll watch it.
So that's out Christmas.
It's at Christmas, yeah. I think it's out Christmas week, I think, like the 21st or something like that.
Mary
so
Poppins
just there.
Returns.
I agree.
And the other trailer that dropped was Captain Marvel.
Yes.
Here we go. March 2019, we get Captain Marvel, just before part 2 of the Infinity Wars. So
this is the last one.
Yes, of the Marvel 10 studios. So the first 10 years of Marvel. We see a young Samuel Jackson in this one, not as a Velociraptor this time.
It's quite nice to see. He really was milking that character, wasn't he?
Yes.
Velociraptor Mary Poppins.
He's I like how they've done the young CGI on him.
It's good.
Second point I've got is the anti-aging on Samuel L. Jackson looks spot on.
Yeah, they did that really well with Iron Man in Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man 3, that making him look younger. And I don't know if you saw the TV series of Westworld, but they do it with Anthony Hopkins in his timeline, so and it really does look like Anthony Hopkins younger.
When you first saw it, it was in the X-Men Last Stand, it looked so weird, and it looked like wax figurines.
Yeah.
What it looks like now, it looks great.
It's hit and miss. I think Rogue One had some good elements of that.
Oh, I thought it looked brilliant. When I saw on the internet, people said
the
Peter Cushings looked awful. I was like, I thought he looked fantastic.
Peter Cushings, I thought looked alright. I think it's just Leia at the end.
I thought Leia looked awful at the end.
That's the problem. But I think that is the most expensive thing to put into film. I heard or read an article. It's really.
I remember us talking about this before. Yeah,
difficult to do. So we've got Captain Marvel set in the 1990s. This one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So this is before all of the Avengers that we know.
So obviously it's a young Samuel L. Jackson. He seems to be. I don't think S.H.I.E.L.D. This is just guessing. I don't think S.H.I.E.L.D. exists at this point. He says he's ready to give it all up until he met her. Makes me think that she was maybe the catalyst that started S.H.I.E.L.D.
Possibly.
You see Agent Coulson in it.
Coulson, yeah.
Coulson. I really liked this. I think it was the only thing that I'm worried about is that it won't live up to the hype now, because everyone kind of assumes that this character is going to save the universe in Infinity Wars Part 2. So there is so much riding on this character in this film to make it look strong enough to take on Thanos. And it's a bit weird that we've spent 10 years growing with these characters and learning to love them, and it's a character that will be released, 8 months before the film that will save the day. And you just kind of hoped. I always thought Iron Man should have done it. So I'm a bit
But it's interesting because her backline, so Marvel want to go into the cosmic universe after this.
Yeah,
so they want to start exploring more Guardians of the Galaxy and the realms and that kind of stuff with the storylines around Adam and that kind of stuff.
Don't they? Because they want to leave Earth to, I believe it's Spider-Man and like the Netflix series, that will be Earth, and the other superheroes are going to go galactic.
Yes, so in this you see elements of that. You see the Krull in the scene, which is obviously part of the Gauntlet storyline. So you've got elements to that in it. It's clever. I mean, these guys are geniuses at what they do. I've 100% faith in Kevin Feige, who kind of like leads up on that this will be a great installment. The trailer hasn't got me as hyped up as I thought it would, but I'm still hyped up regardless. I mean, I could have not seen the trailer, and I'm still definitely going to go watch this on the midnight release.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's be honest. When was the last time you watched a Marvel film and they didn't hit it out of the park?
Iron Man 3.
I didn't mind Iron Man 3. It's 4-2 for me.
How long ago were they?
Thor 2 neither, but I thought Iron Man 3 came out.
Yeah, I didn't mind that.
Yeah, I'm talking, let's say the last sort of 7-8 films.
Since Captain America 2. Oh no, actually Avengers 2. Thought that was balls.
Oh really?
Yeah, I didn't like Avengers 2.
Now that links into a feature. You done? You can move on.
No, I was literally just going to say my favourite part of the Captain Marvel trailer is when she punches an old woman.
Oh yeah, she does. Yeah,
yeah.
We know that's not going to be an old woman, though, don't we?
It's going to be one of the cheeky masks.
But don't you think it's because the characters are shapeshifters? But don't you think it'd be great if it was an old woman and then she has to explain the next 10 minutes? Going, I'm really, really sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'd still watch that.
Yeah, so would I.
Yeah. So this is our 10th episode. We're in double digits. This is that part of the race where you're off the starting blocks and now you're kind of trying to settle into your pace as you work towards the 100.
Yeah.
Because that's the real celebration, isn't it, when you get to triple figures. So I feel like now we need to find our flow. I think we're ready to start doing these properly. I don't know about you guys. I think I'm ready to start watching films, talking about them on a weekly basis and trying to entertain people.
Okay. Yeah, I think that'll be different. Yeah, we'll try that.
Are we putting this out for people to listen to?
No.
Oh, thank God for that.
Unless you live in Poland or other.
Or Sweden.
Or Sweden.
Or there.
We're still getting big in other. I'd like to point out.
We've still got one listener in other.
Good. So I thought I've just got a couple of ground rules really for episode 10. Just to see how it goes. Just to set the scene, if you like. I'm worried that our podcast is going to turn into something, that we can't control.
Okay.
Not big, not grow and develop or anything. I want our podcast to be like more than just three guys sat around microphones each week or a guest and just, unnecessarily swearing, for a set amount of time with no real context or anything really like that. That sounds fair, doesn't it?
We still get to drink though, right?
We still get to drink.
Oh, well then, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying.
I feel like something bad's going to happen.
No. I just wanted to put that out there. I think we were brought up, we were raised up, not dragged up.
Okay.
I'm sure you was.
I just don't want to see this podcast have unnecessary swearing for an hour and a half. That's all right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Now, what I have done is I've taken the liberty to help us in this transition for this episode.
Yeah.
Because again, I don't want to just swear endlessly for an hour.
Obviously not.
So what I've done is I've got some swear word alternatives in case you do feel the need to curse during the episode.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic.
And I've picked ones that I think suit your tones as individuals.
Beautiful.
Okay.
So this is all pointed at you, James, because you have such a potty mouth.
Actually, but that being said, you didn't swear as much last week.
No,
I was just saying, I've been really trying to work hard on not swearing.
James, I've got for you here a list of Victorian swear words.
Oh,
that are no longer used in the English language. So you feel to drop them at any point that you feel necessary.
Okay, I'll try. You fop doodle.
And Sam, I've got for you minced oaths.
Minced oaths?
Yes, these are the words that could be uttered by church ladies and get away with it.
Oh, lovely.
These are called minced oaths.
Oh, dagnabbit.
I don't know if you'll understand them, mate, because you can sometimes sound like a right Zunderkite.
Oh, poppycock.
And I thought just to finish off, I've got Harry Potter swear words. So if you two muggles could shut up, we'll get on with the rest of the show. Does that sound okay?
Oh, fudge.
Oh, Ninny Hammer.
Obviously, we don't need to just drop them in, as and when. But let's just.
No, we do now.
We could just use them at any point.
All right,
Right
sweet.
then.
Thank you very much.
So,
do we have to have these every week with us?
No, just for this week. We'll just tell
All
it.
right,
We'll
sweet.
put it out there
Just for a
to
third
people
time.
to say whether or not they preferred this. So Sam is on minced oaths. James is on Victorian swear words. Feel free to actually as well if we need to ask what one of them means, because some of them definitions are pretty funny. And I will drop Harry Potter bombs as I need to, if I need to.
The HP bombs.
The HP bombs, the sauce bombs. So, should we talk about films then? I want to start with the Predator, if that's okay. So we're going to do Predator and BlackkKlansman. We've all seen BlackkKlansman, but let's just go through Predator.
We've got to start with that as a biggie.
Yeah, so last week we did trailers and we looked at the Predator trailer. We kind of looked at what that was telling us, and then I've been to see it. James has been to see it. We didn't go together on this occasion, but we did go and watch it, and I haven't spoke to you about it. So
We haven't, have we?
Do you want me to set up the premise, or do you want to?
You set up the Predator, my friend.
With no spoilers, this is the basic plot synopsis. This is the Predator. We're very early in the film. The opening scene, we are shown the Predator, or this version of the Predator, skipping through galaxies until he arrives in our world in Earth, and he's being pursued and chased down by another ship, which leads to his ultimate crash landing on Earth again. Here he is, he's back. In which case, at what time the first on scene at the crash site is Boyd Holbrook's character, who's on a mission in Mexico. He's a sniper. He's first on site at the crash site, and he takes some Predator memorabilia, if you like. He takes a helmet and a gauntlet,
armor and stuff like that.
Yeah, he acts like a proper mudblood, and he steals some of these things, and he posts them to his autistic son back at his home in, I don't know where he's from, like Indiana or something like that.
We'll call it Indiana.
What then happens is the Predator doesn't like the fact that these things have been nicked, and what we then get is a shady government operative who are trying to learn from the Predators. They're aware of what the Predators are. They are trying to silence anyone who's been exposed to the Predators, including Boyd Holbrook's character, and a bus full of mercenaries who are being deported. It kind of leads to the fact that they're all going to be executed or lobotomized or something, doesn't it?
My understanding is they're all going to be interrogated and then disposed of. That's the heavy implication.
So what happens is, as this happens, the Predator that was chasing the first Predator lands as well, and then we get an all-out suburban warfare of these two Predators going at each other, but at the same time, in the middle of that, these mercenaries and a group of shady government scientists who
on our planet
again, which is one of my recurring facts. Why do they keep coming to Earth? They've done what they came to do. I know that is poorly explained in the film, but for me, that was the one thing I couldn't get around it. I think you should be kind of grasping from this that I didn't really enjoy it. I think it was a real floppy wand. It just didn't land for me as a film.
Shane Black did bad, or
it's poorly edited. The script's not very good. It doesn't necessarily make sense. Tom Jane's character's got Tourette's all the way through it. I don't get what that's about. I don't get why he wrote that in.
Would he have been better with like Victorian swear words?
Possibly.
Yeah.
They had an opportunity, I feel, with Tom Jane's character, which they didn't explore.
They didn't take it.
They didn't actually, with a lot of the characters, some of the characters in it weren't developed enough so that you didn't really care when the inevitable, lynching started happening. Because, they're fodder, aren't they? They're there to die.
Yeah, of course.
You don't really care that much when they do.
Yeah.
Which is what irritates me compared to the original Predator. That squad, you kind of all cared about,
You
Jesse
care about
Ventura,
most. Yeah.
There's cohesion
Billy,
within the group.
Yeah,
there's cohesion within the group. You've got the outsider, Carl Weathers' character, who is an outsider, and that's very, I think, reminiscent. I mean, I've not been in the military, but you get that grasp that they're a tight unit and they're a family.
Exactly. And then one of them's like the office CIA guy that, and he's an outsider. I completely understand that.
In this one, you've got, like I say, just a ragtag bunch of people thrown together that they don't gel as a unit. When the Predator's on screen, it's badass. I love those scenes. There's a scene in a laboratory bit where Jake Busey's character comes into it.
Oh, he plays the son of Gary Busey's character from the second film.
So there's callbacks there, and those bits are really good. When you're seeing the Predator in action, you're like, yes, nostalgia. I'm really, really into this. It's just all the storyline around that. I'm really disappointed because Sterling K. Brown's in it, who we talked about in Hotel Artemis, who I thought was brilliant. And I'm watching the TV show This Is Us at the minute, and he's just killing it. He's such a good actor. And so I feel he was underutilized.
He was underutilized. So at the beginning, he's used quite well. I really liked his character because you've got to have that character, and I'm not going to spoil anything. By the second part of the film, irrelevant.
And he suffers from the continuity with the editing. There's one scene where he's not got sunglasses on. Next minute he's got sunglasses on. Then the sunglasses have disappeared, and it's nighttime, so I don't even know why he's wearing sunglasses in the first place.
It's terrible writing.
Yeah, and it's not funny, when it tries to be.
So you did actually.
Sorry.
No, sorry, mate. Yeah, it's just that Aaron did say in the last episode that Shane Black has a problem with comedy and action sometimes. He kind of got it right on The Nice Guys. But his other films like Iron Man 3, they don't always plateau quite well. And I think this film is quite... He tries to do both, and therefore neither come across as, well.
Yeah, because in the trailer, he made it, obviously I've not seen it, but he really sort of pushed the comedy side of stuff in the trailer, didn't he? Like... Yeah. But then you say that again, like you say, a ragtag bunch of people put together that don't really have that that bond. But once again, in the trailer, they made it look like they were so close with the jokes and stuff coming out. So they pushed something that they just didn't have, which is a shame. Why not focus more on the predators if that's what the film is going to give you? If that's the best part of the film.
Well, actually, this is another. I don't know if Aaron agrees because genuinely we haven't spoken about it on purpose. So I love the first Predator. I actually really like the second Predator. I think it's as good as... When I watch him, I like it as much as I like the first one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm one of the weird people that really likes the second one. My problem stems from the film Predators. The more I find out about the Predator, as in the species, the less I care.
Oh, really?
So every time they give it a storyline, I care less and less. So in the first one, you don't really know anything about it. At all.
Just an alien.
Exactly. In the second one, they give it a tiny bit of backstory. It likes the heat. And Gary Busey's knows little things about it. And that's it. And then by Predators, and there's like a civil war going on, and Adrian Brody and, Fishburne are fighting on a I stopped caring.
I like where the idea they had with it. Take it off world and then have it as showing them as hunters and as a sport.
And that would have been cool, but you know what I mean? And then they come across one that's like chained up and there's a civil war between predators. I don't care. Yeah,
there's that's too much storyline, isn't it? I forgot about that in the second one it's because LA's going through a heat wave and that's why I like that. And also I learned today as well that in the second Predator film, at the end when there's the three predators on the ship, they were the LA Lakers in the outfits.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because it was all shot in LA.
Right, so another thing I really like, is at the end when Danny Glover kind of like proves himself as an ultimate predator of the human version, he hands him like a really old gun, doesn't he? Like a single shot naval gun, I think. Yeah.
It's like a what do they call it? Like a bluster.
Yeah, I was going to like flintlock or something. I don't really know my weapons. But I thought it was really cool. And the fact it's not explained, I loved that. And why can't
I always thought it was like a nod to this was the last time we came.
Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Or this is the last time someone defeated us.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I got from it. Because obviously he kills the predator.
Well, you wait till you watch this new one, mate.
Okay.
And you see what happens at the end of this film.
I was going to say, that's why you know that's balls.
Yes, because when you see the end of this film, mate, even if you... So this is what I wanted to bring up. Every time we bring up a film like Skyscraper or something where we might have conflicting interests or opinions on it, and you always go to, but I just want to see that. I want to switch off. I think this is the film that you will watch and you will even agree and say that was poorly made.
Really?
I think you cannot get away from the fact that it is just riddled with issues. Mm-hmm. Riddled with issues. The Predator is so cool in this film. He is. And even the other Predator that's in it as well, which isn't a spoiler, you see him in the trailer. But it's just, and they rewrote the whole ending, which is really obvious as well. They gave it a big blockbuster ending. And when it happens, I mean, because it goes from night to day in about 30 seconds, it's just not great editing.
Yeah.
Also, what do you think doesn't go well in a Predator film? I will go with family drama, which is inserted into this film. And I'm just like, who cares?
So there's these weird scenes in it with his autistic son, who obviously, in the trailer, again, you see him messing around with the helmet. So that's not a spoiler to say that he gets his hand on some of the equipment. There are nods to kind of E.T. in the film. Shane Black said that he wanted that kind of close encounters feel to it. And again, you're like, why? Everything... He's kind of gone, I wanted all these influences from Predator 2 and all these things, but I didn't want to do Predator 1 again. Whereas everyone's going, no, but that's what we wanted. We wanted Predator 1 again. We wanted something that good, that simple of a storyline. But this time without the kind of muscle people at the helm, let's have a platoon of, advanced kind of warfare in this one.
Well, this is what I said to you last week, wasn't it? When we spoke about it afterwards, that they sort of took away that big, burly, muscly, like man. You know, that whole scene where they like high five and he shows the arms and the muscles and
I'm a
stuff.
goddamn Tyrannosaurus.
Yeah.
You know, that
And it sort of took that away, but sort of added masculine dialogue between them.
Yeah.
So, and that's what it sort of, I thought, okay, so fair enough. And after reading the stuff in Total Film Magazine, I thought, okay, I see what he's doing. He's doing the first one modern because he said, I don't want it to be like the first one, but I thought maybe he's just going, right, this is the first film, let's make it modern, let's do it now. And what is relevant now? But the problem is, do we really care about, like, of our age, do we care about what's relevant now?
No, it's funny because I brought up the argument before around how come, you know, whenever someone visits Earth, it's always modern day now, America. But you got to be careful what you wish for, because then they brought out Cowboys and Aliens, which did that. They brought Aliens to a different timeline. And
greatest film ever.
Look at that film. To be honest, the saving grace of that film was Samuel Jackson as that T-Rex.
Oh, was he a T-Rex in this one?
Yes, yeah. Oh, he didn't just do Velociraptors.
Jesus.
Yeah, I struggled with the film. I watched it with Kareem, and I know he loves the franchise, and I was really careful on the way out not to just
badmouth it too much.
Badmouth it, yeah. And
so now we get to know if he listens or not.
Well, even then he turned around and he was like, yeah, that wasn't for me. That wasn't great. Again, Predator great, but unfortunately everything else.
I was surprised when you told me that, because I know what a big fan he is.
I will tell one thing. How convenient is it that every time they need a mode of transport, it is right there?
You told me about this. I was pissed myself when you telling me this.
8 choppers, 8 motorbikes. And they do throw in the line, get to the choppers.
Oh, I hate
motorbikes.
That. I absolutely hate that.
My
There's
days.
8 unattended motorbikes with the keys in it. But the female has to jump on with the bloke though, because she couldn't possibly ride her own motorbike.
Olivia Munn couldn't even save this film, mate.
And then when they need transport for all of them, there's an RV unattended that turns up. And then at the end, when the bad guys fly off in a helicopter, thank God there was that unattended, weather helicopter round the corner that they could use. It just did not make sense at all.
I just think the writer was a bit of a foop doodle. So,
Well, that's what happens when you get a bunch of muggles in a film together, isn't it?
They didn't think that far ahead.
No.
That convenient plot.
Yeah.
No. So that's all I've got to say on the matter of the Predator.
Just very quickly, this is off topic and you're not going to care, but two actors that have been mentioned on this podcast quite a bit, Olivia Munn and Michael Pena, were in a film I watched the other day.
Oh, what were they?
The Lego Ninjago movie.
How was that?
It was very Jackie Chan.
I listened to this. I listened to this podcast with kind of older film reviewers, quite a well-established one, and obviously they obviously didn't have kids that used Ninjago, because all the way through they're just like Ninjago, and just all the way through it they just didn't Ninjago. Yeah.
Well, the worst thing, me, Kareem, and yourself, Master Wu, we watched Lego Ninjago, didn't we? We did. We spent a whole summer watching it.
I would like to point out this one when we were 6.
No, this is
like when we were 28.
I remember.
This is 3 years ago. We used to get together every Sunday, didn't we? And we'd play before with podcasts. We used to play basketball, go to Burger King, and then watch Lego Ninjago.
Yeah, we did.
It was very disappointing though, because
I'm glad that
Aaron, Lego Batman, how good?
Oh, perfect.
Have you seen the Lego movie?
Yeah, loved it.
How good? I was very disappointed with
Lego
it.
Movie 2 is coming out as well, isn't it?
Is it really?
Yeah.
I'm so excited about that. I mean, I'm a big Lego fan anyway, but obviously Master Wu, he was the boy in the TV show, and they replaced his amazing voice with Jackie Chan's, and I just wasn't happy about it.
One thing I was going to say actually with the Lego movie, because Chris Pratt was obviously the lead voice actor in that, wasn't he? He put an Instagram picture up the other day with a load of hunting gear on that he got obviously gifted from some hunting company that wanted him to promote that he got his gear. But he put the caption underneath it. Now, Chris Pratt's obviously a God-fearing human, isn't he? He kind of put, everything, if you follow him on Instagram, everything is parables from the Bible and thanking God, and he's very religious. But like he says underneath, it was like, looking forward to using all this gear to bring some hurt to an elk or something like that. And I just thought, that's really out of taste, and like loads of people under it. And that's not just coming from me, because like obviously animal lover and vegetarian, and I would never hunt. I can see why people hunt. And to be honest, if you're going to eat meat, I'd rather you hunted it than, that kind of thing. I'm not going to go down that route. But it was just really, I was like, Chris Pratt, what are you doing? You're like,
did you feel like he betrayed you a little?
I feel as betrayed as in Infinity Wars. And to be fair, I mean, I'm gutted that he didn't get the slap back that I thought he was going to get from that.
Oh no, he did in the meme world, didn't he?
Yeah, but not in the real world. You remember how Trevor in EastEnders, when he dunked Little Mo's head in the gravy? He couldn't act again after that, could he?
No,
you don't hurt Little Mo though.
But that's what I mean.
I mean, he was
seriously though.
If they'd shown the scene in Infinity Wars
of Little Mo like disintegrating, there would be a bigger backlash.
Yeah.
Oh, massively.
Oh, you're mocking me more.
Oh, dear.
I knew it was coming.
But like, he couldn't act again after that. I thought Chris Pratt was going to go down that route of like not being able to show his face in public because fans were.
From EastEnders.
No, unfortunately, you're Chris Pratt. You can show your face.
Yeah, that's true.
We've seen worse, haven't we?
Yeah, Percy.
But, well, yeah.
Ray Fiennes in Schindler's List. I can't believe last week I was talking about Ray Fiennes playing bad guys and I didn't say Voldemort. I mean, he who shall not be named.
Well, what are you doing? You fucking rantantillion.
You can't say the F word first.
You say fricking or flipping, James.
Bloody hell, you broomhead.
Dagnabbit.
Right then, let's move on from Pearl. Let's put that behind us. Sam, go watch it, check it out. If you're listening to this, hook us up on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. Let us know what you think of the film. I think our opinion is shared with many that I've looked at.
And I got a poster out of it.
Yeah. We swapped some nice
to
little
go
posters.
into the studio.
Right then, so let's look at BlackkKlansman, which we saw a few weeks back, but with the trailer episode, we did want to bring it up during that one. And also, Sam, you've been to see it in the meantime, so we can all talk about this one collectively. Let's set up the film. Does anyone have a bio on this one, or do you want me to take it again?
I've just got very quick. You do it, Aaron. You do such a good job. I like hearing your voice.
I don't know, Predator, I right stumble because I was too busy looking at my swear words trying to throw one of them in.
I'm doing the exact same thing going, I can't even pronounce that word.
Yeah.
I now know why I got the Victorian ones, though.
I tell you what. Let's set up BlackkKlansman as we can. So this comes from Spike Jonze. It's a Spike Jonze joint, as he likes to call his movies. This is the true life story.
Spike Lee.
Spike Lee.
What did I say?
Spike Jones.
Oh, they're completely different. Spike Lee movie.
Rewind.
So this is about the true story of Ron Stallworth, the first undercover African-American policeman.
Working in Colorado Springs in 1979.
Oh, nice. Oh, and it stars John David Washington.
And Adam Driver.
And Laura Harrier.
And Topher Grace.
And it's about his infiltration.
To the Ku Klux Klan.
Damn it, I've got nothing, he wins.
Movie.
Yes. So 1979, Colorado Springs, first black detective in this movie, isn't he? For the Colorado Springs Police Department. And his first real mission is to try and infiltrate the Ku Klux Klan, which he does by responding to an advertisement in a local newspaper where the person on the other end of the phone believes he is a white individual and therefore is a ideal candidate for the Ku Klux Klan.
And he stupidly gives his own name.
Yes, yeah.
Which leads to him having to find someone else within the police force, insert Adam Driver, to represent him in the flesh when he goes along to the meetings. But all the stuff over the telephone or the leading of the investigation is done by Ron Stallworth, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, back at the headquarters. This film, it probably is appropriate to start at the beginning of the film. This film opens with one of the most unique openings to a film I've ever seen. Next to Nocturnal Animals opening, when we were in the cinema going, what is this that's happening? You've got to see that, mate.
Have you not seen anything into that?
No.
I'm not spoiling it for you.
Yeah.
We'll do it after this.
Tonally, mate. What is that about at the beginning of the film? But this opening, Alec Baldwin's scene in this, is basically he's
filming a recruitment video
for the KKK. And it is full of the worst hate speech you've ever heard. But it's also done in that a comedic way because it keeps going wrong and having to restart.
He keeps asking the person who's filming it what he means and what's the word again. And stuff.
It's a real bizarre opening to the film.
It's horrendous, but so good at the same time.
It gets you involved from the offset, which I loved. Which I loved.
106%.
And he comes across as a beard splitter. You don't need to know anything about him. He's just a beard splitter.
Well, it's great because he's only in that scene, isn't he?
Yeah,
that's it. Bit. Well, he's like credited fifth in the
he's going to be
in the cast. I know he's obviously big, but that is that is not the standout scene, but that is one of the standout scenes. Yes. If you're going to bring in that at the very beginning, I mean, Spike Lee knew what he was doing there, didn't he?
I find that quite visceral to listen to. It kind of made my skin crawl just thinking, because I think of myself as quite a liberal person. Mm-hmm. I don't understand how you could hate someone that much.
No,
based on the colour of their skin.
No.
So I'm coming from this as a weird person, from a different perspective, obviously. And I just thought, to sum it up, I thought the film was fantastic, and you can see why the Oscars speak about it.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
loved every aspect of it. I do have some choices with the way it was filmed. There are certain scenes, but the speeches, especially towards the end, there's an opposing speech. So David Duke, played by Topher Grace, is giving a speech, and then Damn it, I've forgotten. A civil rights leader is giving a speech to black students at college.
Oh, you can't believe bringing this up already.
I was talking on the heartstrings. I loved that.
I nearly shed a tear during them scenes.
I loved that.
The film is shot in parallels, isn't it? As is the film. It's bookended either end. At the end of the film, obviously, we're shown some real documentary footage as well at the end of the film. So it's all about parallels throughout this film, and I think that's done really, really well. It's one of them interesting films where when you watch it, you think, okay, well, is this a film that's doing this for the Oscar? Is this a film that's doing this for the recognition and that? But actually, no, this is a real interesting, important story to watch.
Hand on heart, that is not made for anything other than Spike Lee wanted to make that film.
Yeah, and he wanted
you and me and you to see this film.
Yeah.
I think this film was really, really good. I'm so glad that we went to watch it, and I think that, like I say, I think it's just that right level of unbelievable. You know, the first black cop in this Colorado Springs PD
detective
gets in the KKK. It's that right level of Hollywood storytelling that's just the right end of unbelievable that it's true.
But as a character and as a person, he's so charming, though, isn't he? But he's charming. He's angry. You know, he's everything, and I think. The way they set him up when he's working in records, and then when he gets that first job as an undercover cop, it builds him up so much that you can see how and why he did it, because he just didn't care at that point. He's like, I'm going to do something big. Can I just say something really quick, James, before you do? A friend of mine asked me after I came out of the cinema. They said, "Oh, what did you think of the film?" And I know that person listens to this podcast, and they said, "Oh, you know, I like when you talk about cinematography, scores, all this sort of thing." This is the first film I've ever walked out of, and not only did I pay perfect attention to what was going on screen, I walked away and I found myself talking about how it was shot, the parallels, the music in it to me was phenomenal. I thought it was so good, and I found myself. This is the first time ever in a film I walked away and discussed them things, and not just so much going, "Oh, I like this guy," or "I like that guy," or "I like this scene." And honestly, I was amazed by this film. Absolutely amazed.
Yeah, I think it's going to upset some people that want to watch, that watch it. Not to go straight down the road and say Republicans, but I think it will. It's not going to be for everyone. But I for someone who didn't know anything of that topic, I found it to be really interesting and actually want to know more about it. And actually, you can see how relevant it is in today as well, actually, knowing that.
I was going to bring that up earlier because where it's set and you're watching it and it's set in a different timeline. Sorry, I found myself afterwards talking to the friend I went to go see with about how it's still there. It's completely still there. And although you're watching it from a different timeline.
To be fair, I think that's Spike Lee's point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it just sparks such a massive conversation afterwards over the whole Black Lives Matter and that sort of thing. And the KKK conversation, it was brilliant.
Scariest thing about that entire film was the end when he uses actual footage about the riots.
It was horrific, wasn't it?
In America.
Yeah.
That was the scariest bit for me.
Yeah, that was the most difficult part to watch as well. It was quite, because
it was graphic, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it had that. It was one of them films where kind of like Shane Black's directing in the sense that it would give you a bit of comedy and then it would give you a serious note and then it would give you a bit more comedy and then serious.
The comedy
note.
was so sly though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like that because you couldn't do like this with slapstick.
Yeah,
you couldn't, could you?
But like Topher Grace, playing David Duke, the Grand Wizard of the KKK. There's scenes in it where Ron Stallworth's calling up because his membership card hasn't arrived, and there's those scenes where you
develop a friendship.
Yeah, and there's scenes where he's talking about membership, and he's like, "Oh, you got to buy your own robes though," and that kind of stuff. I was like, okay, but then the context, what the film's trying to tell you, and that speech, at the end of the film where you're talking about David Duke talking, and in the student house that's going on, that is really sobering. That conversation.
The film builds to that climax, and you're watching
that's the true climax of the film,
100%. And you leave that just whilst you're watching that scene, you're fixed. Anything could happen at that point. You would not take your eyes off what's going on that screen. I
liked every performance in it. I don't think anyone really let the side down.
No.
In terms of that, I did really like Adam Driver in the film though as well.
I was going to say, I did as well. He was brilliant.
There's a really good scene where him and where he gets told that he's got to go undercover, and they're trying to mimic the way that each other talk.
Oh, it's really funny. That
it was just a really good scene, really, really good scene that I enjoyed. And obviously, Adam Driver's character's got his own motivation to take part in this investigation because he's Jewish.
He plays Jewish.
Yeah, but he's he's not a practicing Jew.
It's just his heritage.
Yeah, he comes from that background, so he kind of finds his heritage through the film, doesn't he? From seeing so much hate.
Yeah. There's a good scene where he's discussing it with the main guy Ron, such and such, where he's discussing heritage and how he didn't believe in it, and now it's sort of coming back to him whilst doing the case. Yeah,
Ron Stallworth in it. Yeah, no, it was really good, really good. I'd recommend it. I'd go watch it again, or when it comes out on DVD, I'll more than likely be getting it.
Oh, I definitely will be. It's so good.
Loved it. Thought it was great. On the road to Bacon, it's in the north.
And it's probably a Vault contender as well, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
It's my second favourite movie this year.
I would definitely say I've not walked out. The last film I walked out of and needed to talk about was Infinity Wars.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously, but I've not had. It's very rare I walk out of a film and go, I need to talk about this.
For me, it's probably not Moonlight, Spotlight.
Spotlight.
When I came out of Spotlight, I went to go see it with my mum and my dad on her birthday. She's a practicing Roman Catholic. I remember thinking, well, that was awkward. but it's such a horrible, visceral film. It just makes you think. And then again, I got into that situation where I was thinking, I can't understand how a human being is like this.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, well, I think that draws a line through BlackkKlansman, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Still out in cinemas now, so if you listen to these podcasts weekly, still go and catch it. But if not, definitely a contender to...
It's slowly coming out, though. When I went to go see it, there was only one showing of it that day.
But because I think this is going to be up for Oscars after Christmas, all the Oscar contenders, they usually reshow. Yeah. So you might get a chance to re-see this in January or December.
Yeah.
There is no way it not hit the Oscars, will it?
Have any of you guys been watching anything on Netflix or television, Now TV, or anything that's been on, this week?
Oh, can I just quickly give a quick nod to the BBC drama?
Yes.
6-parter called The Bodyguard.
Yes.
Fantastic. Absolutely amazing. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's on iPlayer, 6 months.
Yeah, I've got to catch up.
I was going to say, there's this the finale is this Sunday, and I'll be watching it straight away because I'm hooked. Fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of buzz about this online. A lot of people saying it's great.
It's brilliant. And no one knows how it's going to end. There's so many conspiracy theories. It reminds me a lot of, do you remember 24, season 1, episode 23?
Oh, like the back of my hand, mate.
Where you find out Nina's the bad guy, but that's it.
Spoilers.
Hashtag spoilers.
Hashtag spoilers. But you had no idea where it's going. And you're like, what? And then you had to wait a week. It's like that. I can't believe I have to wait a week to find out what happens.
Yeah.
I'm peed off.
I can't believe we still have TV shows that we have to wait a week to watch.
I'm actually, do you know what? Do you not think it's kind of good though? Because I remember the last series of Game of Thrones. I enjoyed waiting for it at some point.
I'm going to have that next season because I didn't watch it until last year and I've watched all of them now. So this next season I'll be watching as they come out. But no, because I remember True Detective Series 2 when we had to wait a week to watch it each time. It was unbearable.
I've only ever watched two TV shows where I've had to wait week for week. And one of them was last season of American Horror. I've watched that week for week. And so really the only one that was a standalone was the O.J. Simpson trial.
I saw that all in one go because of Netflix.
Yeah, I watched that week by week.
The sequel, The Assassination of Versace, is basically won pretty much all the Emmys.
Oh, really?
And our boy Dinklage got
Best Supporting.
Best Supporting.
Oh, wow.
Cool. And Charlie Brooker, my boy, got one for writing as well for Black Mirror.
Good.
McAllister episode.
Oh, all right.
Very good. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Oh, although you missed out Luther.
Yeah,
everyone watched Luther.
Everyone watched Luther. But then again, you can't really say that because like the last series was 2 episodes.
Yeah. So you had to wait a week.
You had to wait a whole week.
Yeah, that's true.
Films on Dark Tower. I think that's the only one I've watched.
Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it on Now TV. Yeah.
Oh my God, I've seen Dark Tower.
Yes. Let's go, boys. Right, we're at 54 minutes.
Okay, let's go. Let's do this.
This episode's going to be 2 hours long. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
Oh my God.
And it's a weird one because I'm not going to sit here and say whether I liked it or I didn't like it. I'm not saying it was the best, but I know you've read all the books.
Yeah.
I've never read the books. I don't know the context of the books.
This is
You've told me the ending of the books.
Yes.
You've told me the ending of the books. I've not read the books.
I haven't. And if I'm honest, I am watching a film I know nothing about with some charming actors in it who I very much like, with a bit of wizardry and stuff, which to me is quite good.
Oh.
But as films go, I mean, everything I've seen review wise on this is 2.5 out of 5, 5 out of 10. It's very in the middle. That's where I'd put it. It's a very in the middle film.
So without knowing any of the backstory, any of the context, you just saw it at face value. This is I'm dropped into a universe, into a storyline, just going to follow it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
That is the only way you can enjoy this film.
You said that to me, and I'm kind of glad I did.
I'd like to point out that I come from the same standpoint as him, and I thought it was balls.
I knew you'd hate it. Yeah.
What did you think it was, James?
Hate it as well.
I said I thought it was a bird swiver.
Good.
What a load of bullcorn.
Hold your hippogriffs.
Yeah, I thought it was bad. I thought... So I've not read the books, but I've got a problem with Stephen King that I think Stephen King should end his books like 2 chapters before they do, because he always gets into some terribleness by the end.
Yeah.
I mean, a giant ant or a giant creature.
Yeah. Or, you know...
Or the ending to these books.
I was going to say, like,
Yeah, we can't give away the ending to these books because you have to read 7 to get to it.
I was going to say, you know, like It.
Actually, to be fair, in the Dark
storyline
Tower, he does stop a chapter before and he says, don't read on if you don't want to know the end. And he gives you an author's note saying, just stop now and it's done. And you can't then not read the last chapter to find out.
I think they got their cast wrong.
Yeah.
I think they got their cast very wrong. And that's not a dig at Idris Elba, and it's not a dig at Matthew McConaughey. I just think that possibly if you switch their roles, it might have been better. Matthew McConaughey so he's playing like some sort of grand wizard that's trying to take down the tower. Mm-hmm. Is that a fair point? You know, keep it very basic.
That's what it is.
I didn't know this was coming up. So again, not sure on all the ins and outs of it. So because I haven't been able to spend the week.
Because I didn't think you'd watch it.
Yeah, but you've got the Man in Black played by Matthew McConaughey. Now, any Stephen King fan or any person who reads Stephen King books knows that there's a character called Randall Flagg who reappears in not all of them, but the majority of the big Stephen King books. And he's reincarnated in various books as different characters. This is the epitome of all of them. The Man in Black, who is just this. He
is Randall Flagg.
Yes, so you never. So in The Stand, he plays Randall Flagg, but he's in various books. He normally has the initials RF or somewhere along them lines, or he has certain characteristics about him. You know, wearing jeans and being a bit of a ladies' man, drinking beer. When you read the books, if you read enough of them, you start to see, here he is again, and he normally drifts and he turns up. And you're never sure if he's a demon or a wizard or what he is, but he's just up to no good. And he normally wants to bring down the world or the universe or whatever it is with no real explanation. So that's who Matthew McConaughey is in this film. I love Matthew McConaughey, and even his bad films I'll still watch because it's Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't mind Idris Elba as Roland Deschain, who's the gunslinger in the film. But you two keep going because
my problem is watching the film. I sort of thought that the Man in Black character, Matthew McConaughey, so other people kind of revere him. So you see scenes where he goes and sees Rorschach from Watchmen, and he's like, "Oh my God, it's you!" I thought a different actor, a younger actor who gave it kind of like a showbiz spin, like he was kind of famous, might have given it a different spin. And when I was seeing Idris Elba play the gunslinger. I kind of thought they were going for like an older white man type of, I'm thinking younger Clint Eastwood in, The Man with No Name. And that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, I actually thought Idris Elba was quite good in it. I just thought he wasn't suited for the role in the story they were telling, because I thought it was supposed to be about established roles. I thought that was the point of it. So I thought it was kind of like breaking these things and these universes down, so it would have made more sense for that. I don't really like the chemistry between Idris Elba and the kid, and that's not Idris Elba's fault. I blamed the child. I thought the child was pretty bad.
Yeah, that was very weird. I was like, leave me alone. And then the next scene is cuddling and being like, I love you.
And Idris Elba at the end when he has a hot dog.
Yeah.
And he's like, you eat your dogs? I was just like, oh, God.
Yeah, savages.
He's fish out of water comedy that's never good in these fantasy films.
Kind of sugar or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's fine in films like Sorcerer's Apprentice, where you know what you're going to go watch.
Yeah, exactly, but not in this. I didn't like it.
I've got to say about Matthew McConaughey, though, what you're saying about maybe a younger, more, you know
what I mean? Kind of like charismatic,
yes, and I'll tell you exactly who it should have been. And why I actually liked his character. It should have been David Tennant in Jessica Jones.
Yes.
What's his name? I'm drawing a blank.
Killjoy.
Kilgrave. Sorry, Killjoy obviously sells antiques.
Yeah. That's Lovejoy, my friend.
Oh, damn it.
He died recently, didn't he? His boy in that.
The supporting actor.
Yeah, shame. No, if he played it more like Kilgrave, then yes. And I think that's why I quite like Matthew McConaughey, because I like the whole, he walks into a room, goes to someone who just doesn't want to be there and just goes, stop breathing.
Yeah.
Like, so why is in front of the face?
It's unparalleled power, yeah.
And obviously I was a massive Jessica Jones 1 fan purely because of David Tennant.
Yeah.
Not because of Jessica Jones. I think if McConaughey would have had more of that about him, I would have enjoyed it more. But because he still had a slight resemblance to Kilgrave, I was like, oh, that's quite cool. And it's just the odd thing that he says when he walks into a room that just makes you go, this dude's been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
He's cool. He knows exactly what he's doing. There is no messing about. And the big thing I didn't like was the gunslinger, supposed to be the greatest shooter.
The last of his kind as well.
Yeah, and the last of his kind. And they really didn't play that up until right at the end when he does a couple of pretty good trick shots.
Oh, I was just
start off with
is all right.
Yeah, I mean, start off when he's like, there's a demon in it that it's just to prove what would happen if the tower came down and he's shooting at them. There is nothing at all to say that he's a good shooter. He is literally just flinging bullets about and...
This film needed to be a trilogy, so you could explore those two characters and bring them together in an epic finale.
And I think it would have worked.
Which did not come through in a 90-minute feature.
Can we spoil this film?
Because
there's just one point I want to make out that to me was when I kind of washed my hands and was done with the film. So can I spoil it?
Okay, well, if you don't want to listen, 3, 2, 1, yeah.
Well, when the kid's mum dies and he gets over it in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That was it for me. I was like, wow. And then Idris Elba's like, just.
Although when he starts crying, I totally agree with you. But when that kid starts crying, I was a bit like, oh dear, geez Louise.
The mum dying, actually, I thought was for a film that was playing to a younger audience. I thought, oh, okay, because the Man in Black would have done that. Good things about the film if you're a Stephen King fan. It is littered full of Easter eggs to Stephen King films.
Yes, there's a Pennywise. You can see that.
So when they go into one of the other realms, there's a broken down theme park which says Pennywise over the top, which is obviously the clown from it. In the psychiatrist room, you've got the Overlook Hotel in the picture frame in the background, which is the hotel from The Shining. On the wall in the kid's bedroom, when the Man in Black visits, he spray paints the face from Mr. Mercedes, so the smiley face. The kids playing with Christine, the car in one scene. One of the portals they go through. One of the portals they go through is 1408 from that novel. So it is littered with Stephen King Easter eggs.
So you must have loved it for that.
I found myself calling to those things going, oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I like that. Because the Dark Tower books, when you read them, are littered with Easter eggs from the Stephen King universe.
I think I would have liked it if the kid wasn't in it. If they could have somehow rewritten it without that
they couldn't have done because he's pivotal in the books. So again, you were going to lose... You would never, ever, with this film, doing a standalone film, were you ever going to get past the fact that you were going to annoy the people that had read the Dark Tower books? Because you were not going to get 7 films into one.
How many books does this film cover? Is this just the first book?
No, it doesn't even do it doesn't even do the first.
It's really not the timeline, is it? You said
no. So what happens is what they've done is they've taken liberties from the novels, the characters, the concept of a Dark Tower. So
it's the universe.
And the idea that you can go through these portals and that the Dark Tower's holding all these realms together. But just about everything else is made up. So it's almost like taking bits of that and creating a story out of it. Because in the 7 books, the third book's a flashback to when the gunslinger's a kid, so you learn about his upbringing. You've got the last. It's a massive quest. The first book tells like a western. They've got the greatest opening line to a novel. About chasing the Man in Black through a desert and that kind of stuff. The second one is about him bringing together his bandit of people that kind of like his fellowship in the Lord of the Rings. So he gets a load of people together. Then you've got aspects of going through different timelines. Stephen King is in the books. And he's in the books writing the Dark Novel Towers, and they visit him and talk to him about the fact that he's writing books on the Dark Tower. It's a real mind bender. And then what they've done is they've kind of took all them cool things away, and they've just said, right, actually,
anything that's good about it, leave it.
Let's just make a very linear storyline about 2 characters that don't like each other, and let's put Dennis Haysbert in there as
Dennis Haysbert
as the gunslinger's dad. Get him to recite a poem a whole bunch of times, and then
I did not like that poem.
No, and it comes in too many times for it to be. I don't know. There's certain elements like the house when it started moving and he goes through the portal. I was like, yeah, I kind of dig this. This is all right.
Yeah. Do you remember your father's face?
Oh, don't. Don't. It's just those. Yeah,
I don't shoot with my eye. I shoot with my hand.
Yeah, those bits are in the book actually. Those little bits, but in the book, the gunslinger's only got 2 fingers and 1 hand.
You see, that's
really?
That's
cool. Gets a bit off by a crab.
Of course he does.
Yeah, But in the book, you get
course
the
it
idea
does.
that that's the other thing in the book as well. You get the idea that this guy is on a quest. And he has walked 1,000,000 miles, and you get that with it. Whereas in the film, Idris Elba's character had a lot of friction. He had a mission, but he didn't really want to help. I don't know. It's not. I would have preferred it if they had it. If they didn't call it the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
And that, or they a year before they went, right, we're going to make a film about the gunslinger, but if you love the books, this isn't that. And because if they'd done that, I would have gone into it with fresh eyes and gone, oh yeah, you've done, I can see what you did.
See what you did, yeah.
If it inspired people to read the books, then I will let it slide.
I'm not a big reader, you know that, but no, that's a lie.
I was going to say it's the opposite affected me. I've always wanted to read the books, but watching the films made me not want to.
No,
that's a shame because the books
I think
are
it's
brilliant.
you that's made me want to.
Yeah, they are really, really good.
I mean, the amount of crazy screwed up things that you tell me about them and the things they come across. Is Sam Jackson in the book as a Samosaurus Rex?
I can't remember who he plays. Does he play the moon in that?
I was going to say he's the moon and the stars, isn't he? Because he rotates and he wears like a fake mustache.
Yeah,
when he's the moon.
I mean, the biggest thing in the film is John Goodman playing the tower.
That's brilliant. I did really enjoy that. Just quick question, genuinely quite quick question. Based on the film, why did Matthew McConaughey want to bring down the Dark Tower?
Exactly, that's one thing I did.
I've seen
there is no reason for it at all.
I was going to say I've seen that film twice. I still don't really know why.
Other than
just because you want to see what happens.
Other than evil.
Yeah, anarchy and chaos. The Dark Tower is holding all the realms together, and if you break it, then you're going to open up the seams and universes.
Get some naughty people.
Well, he seems to be able to travel through the realms quite easily, so that's why I'm always thinking, well, why?
Yeah,
just get
in the books as well. All the other towers have fell. The Dark Tower is the one in the middle, and so all the other ones. So this is the last stand in many ways. So in the books as well, you've got that added pressure to it. Cool. Yeah. All right. Well. We should do a Stephen King episode on the back of that.
No, I would love to do a
Stephen King films and books and start looking at them. Because to be honest, not many of the films have actually been better than the books.
No.
To be fair.
Yeah. Although we could throw some TV miniseries in there.
Anything Stephen King related, I think we should do at some point. Right, we're past the hour and 7-minute marks. So, blimey, I cannot believe by Merlin's beard we've got to this stage of the episode already.
Holy moly.
I know. I think I might have swear words, actually.
Yeah, there's a couple in there that I don't know how I'm going to get them in.
Great Caesar's Ghost.
That's the one I was looking at.
That's for like shock. You're like, Great Caesar's Ghost.
I tried to fit in Son of a Siberian Sasquatch, but you spoke over me. And
I hate it. Right then, so let's end the episodes like we do each and every week. So any film that we've talked about that is absolutely epic and brilliant and one that we want to immortalise, we put into our vault. BlackkKlansman?
BlackkKlansman.
Aye.
No words. Can I have that pen you stole off me earlier?
I don't know where I put it, mate.
It's there right in front of your face. Thank you, mate.
So,
my pen, but it wasn't accepted.
No, this is a gel pen, my friend. And also,
ironically, that's my pen that I left here last week that you're now claiming is yourself.
Yeah, and this one also says HMP on it. So this is my pen, James.
Right, we're using each other's pens now. That's what this has come to.
Sorry.
I don't think we're now arguing about it.
Yeah, dung brains.
Gadzooks? What's a gadzook?
I don't know. Let's end the episode like we do each and every week by putting some films in the vault. So let's put in BlackkKlansman.
Definitely.
We then look at films that we didn't like and the ones that we try and keep you away from, and we put them into the pit, or Sarlacc's pit, if you like, from Star Wars.
You see, I would put the Dark Knight.
No,
not the Dark Knight.
The Predator.
Dark Knight?
No,
he's talking about the Dark Tower.
Oh, the Tower.
I really hated it.
No, I'm sorry. No, I can't, because I will rewatch that film.
See, that's really unfair because you would put it in the pit, I would put it in Sam's hole, and you wouldn't put it in any. And I think that shows how invested you are into the Dark Tower before watching it, because the other category that we put films into is Sam's hole, and that's the pit where nothing returns from, and actually we'll try our best not to ever even acknowledge that film exists at any point. That's how. So up in air, shall we? I'm going to put it out to the vote, actually. I might put it out on social media and say,
actually, it's fantastic.
What should we do?
This is a good one. This is the first split we've ever had, isn't it?
What should we do? But you have to watch the film. You have to bloody listen to the film, watch the film.
Yeah, you can't just say it just to,
yeah.
Or if anything, we are putting something out there for you to go watch a film. Yep. It's only an hour and a half long. Go watch a film.
Actually, I was surprised.
You might like it, you might not.
So before we do the box, we also want to bring up about some questions that you've been asked, James, this week regarding the Road Not Bacon.
Yeah, the Road Not Bacon. So I've got a little bit of sass from amateur cartographers out there.
You've had some sass?
I've had some sass
Oh, dag
from,
nabbit.
some right rantillions, who think that they know better than I do.
Just a bunch of troll bogies.
Jeez, oh man. Run out of beer.
Why? Why is Mr. Sandler at the bottom in the place where you don't
If you
want to
haven't
be?
heard the episode before, just set up the Road Not Bacon very, very quickly.
So we're not reviewers. Every film has its merits. So when we talk about a film, we try to place it on this roadmap. So in the north, the peaks, it's where you got your Michael Shannons, your Perfection. In the east, you've got the calming lakes of Amy Adams. In the west, you've got the rocky, desolate desert lands of Nicolas Cage. People go crazy there. In the middle, you've got the Road Not Bacon, Kevin Bacon. And in the south, in the Elephant's Graveyard, where Sam's hole is kept and guarded, is Adam Sandler.
yeah, an absolute troll bogey.
He is. And so I've been asked constantly by a lot of people who keep defending him for some bizarre reason why he's the worst of the worst.
Troll bogey.
All right. I thought he was laughing because actually at the top, sorry, just thinking, above my Harry Potter swear words was my original list of Tinkerbell swear words, which included, who gives a pile of pebbles? Sorry, I just saw Sam
That was brilliant.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry, James.
So in the Road Not Bacon, this map, if you like, imagine it like the map of, to Mordor, that kind of Lord of the Rings style map. In the middle is Kevin Bacon because he's consistently a solid performer, isn't he?
He's consistently all four as well.
Yeah. So he gives us good, he gives us bad, he gives us wacky, and he gives us greatness.
Yes, exactly.
So any film, rather than giving it a 5-star rating, which is pointless because the second you give it a film 5 stars, all films are therefore linked to that 5-star rating.
Yes.
So if you shoot your load early and you put in like Batman and Robin as a 4-star,
I always do.
It's going to be difficult, isn't it?
Yes.
Whereas if you give it a percentage rating as well, which doesn't necessarily work, because why allow films to be rated by public, and to to let people vote on a percentage of film? Because when you allow people to vote, nothing bad ever happens.
Ooh, callback. Full circle.
There you go.
So I've been asked a lot why Adam Sandler's down south guarding the hole.
Did you want to tell people why?
Yeah,
I've got a couple of reasons if you want to hear them.
well, yeah, I'd like to hear him, mate.
All right. Point 1, bulletproof.
Yeah.
Point 2, the water boy.
Yeah, but
Well,
in
I
that, you got
suppose
the,
if you...
Big Daddy, mate.
No, I'm not.
Little
having that, 'cause-
Nicky.
you got a point there.
Little Nicky. Well,
hold
I'm
on,
not
you
too-
know-
Punch Drunk Love.
Mm.
Mr. Deeds.
Now,
Is that the one?
Let me tell you.
With the foot. Is that the one with the guy with the foot?
8 Crazy Nights. 51st dates.
Here's a question: How many dates did they have?
Spanglish.
Oh God!
I have no idea what that is.
Have you not?
No, I have no idea what that is.
He's married to Simon Hayek, and you're supposed to think that would happen in real life. That's the biggest fiction of that
That's
film.
the biggest plot hole.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what about Angela?
Click.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's well, actually, we're not allowed to
But
talk
then
about that.
if I'm honest, I quite
I
like.
now pronounce you Chuck and Larry.
Did that?
You don't mess with the Zoan.
I own that on Bleep.
Funny people. Did you really?
Yeah,
Get out.
I got it for free. Funny people. That's ironic. That title.
No,
I'm
grown-ups.
Some people like that.
Grown-ups
Yeah,
too.
but
Yeah, no one likes that. It's got David Spade in it.
I'm finished. Jack and Jill, actually.
Oh. You're not allowed to talk about that one.
I'm not talking. I just
That's twice you brought that up just to spin in the hole.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I will
That's my boy.
bloody broomhead.
No, seriously, I'm finished.
You are finished.
Yeah.
To me, someone who
Pixels. I am really good. I could seriously go on all night.
I know you could.
Those are the reasons.
This is just for you guys, you listeners won't know, but Remy is going to do his not at this. A friend of ours was messaging me the other day saying, I want to come on this podcast. I want to defend Adam Sandler. And he only had like 2 points.
I was going to say,
there's 2 films where he was like, well, these are quite good. I was like, well, Yeah, but if you really want to talk, mate, you're going to get hammered if you come on the podcast and try and defend Adam Sandler. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
I mean, if we went to trial, that's just a list of evidence.
Yeah.
that's what that is.
Just very quickly, just because you mentioned some of them terrible films. Last night when I was trying to watch Family Guy, as I always do, they didn't put it on and made me watch Hot Tub Time Machine 2.
They made you watch it.
Yeah, because it was on when
they use that to torture people in the Middle East.
I was not happy with this.
The first Hot Tub Time Machine
Did
is
not enjoy
passable.
it.
It's passable just for the take your panties off.
Yeah, well, what's Craig
Robinson.
Craig Robinson. That is he is full on bay, but
That's the John
my
Cusack
God,
film where you
terrible.
just think, why?
That was when
exactly?
John Cusack needed to redo his bathroom.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'll do
Yeah.
that film.
Definitely.
It is it's criminal that when we did the zombie episode, I did not rip into the film Cell, which is a Stephen King book.
No,
that
I know
is in-
you really didn't.
And Samuel
like that.
Jackson's in it. And do you know what? It would have been
Who did
better
he play?
if he
Mobile
played
phone.
If he played, if he played a dinosaur, it would have been a lot better. Oh man, that is a bad film. That is a bad film. If Romy wants to come on the show and try and defend Adam Sandler, then that's fine. But to me, he fell off the back of a broom handle. If he wants to do that,
Horse feathers, Remy.
I think I've got them all in. I think I've got every single one of them. I'm going to move on to the Tinkerbell one. So as we end,
Zootikins.
yes.
Right.
No, hold on. This isn't leading anywhere, but actually, Reign Over Me, Adam Sandler, passable, but more because of Don Cheadle and the soundtrack. And yeah, I like how it's filmed. That one, it's a good one. Some of the early ones, Happy Gilmore's okay,
I was just saying, Happy
Billy
Gilmore
Madson's okay.
and The Wedding Singer.
and The Wedding Singer's okay.
But
yeah.
essentially, once you've seen those films, you've seen them all.
Yes.
So-
and Anger Management, but because of Jack Nicholson in it, and John C. Reilly is in it as well. So there are some that I would watch if I was stuck on an aeroplane that was crashing.
Exactly, but seriously, I haven't finished mentioning them.
Okay, Adam Sandler, done.
Yeah. The do-over. Sorry, apparently I've got lots more. But I won't say anymore.
Oh, heavens to Betsy.
I'm racking my brains now for Adam Sandler films. Right, let's end the show like we do each and every week by looking at what is in my cinema ticket box. So every cinema ticket that every cinema ticket since 2002 I've collected. They are in a box that's in front of me. Sam and Woozy just delve into it each week and pull one out to end the show.
Episode 10, normally I'm the guy that does look for the films, but episode 10 we're celebrating. I actually let James get Watch Deep in your box today. So
Watch Deep. Splinters.
Oh, I get to do this thing. I'm going to do it.
Oh, right, well, I wasn't expecting that, but go on,
Sorry.
then you do it, mate.
So,
I'm out.
on the 29th of the 7th, 2017,
You're doing it wrong.
row G, everyone's a critic, seat 23, you went to go see Dunkirk.
Yes, I did.
You went to go see it with me.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Right, go get my box.
Get my box out quickly.
I did really. Yeah. Dunkirk, brilliant film. Yeah,
I did not see it with you two, but I have seen it.
Directed by Christopher Nolan. This is telling the Normandy going over and saving the soldiers that were trapped on Normandy, wasn't it? During the Second World War.
And Dunkirk, which...
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, no, you did.
Yeah.
I was just, getting there.
God, I'm terrible today.
Yeah, Christopher Nolan, first war film he'd done.
Yeah.
This was coming back on I was worried because he'd come off quite a few great films at the time. So I was, actors and directors sometimes have a bomb. Thought this might be it. No, I really enjoyed it.
Did you think that when you heard the words Harry Styles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when someone had to explain to me who Harry Styles was, then I got even more worried.
I didn't mind him in it. To be fair,
Exactly. Harry Styles was very good in it.
I just thought everyone was good in it. Because the film wasn't about a standalone performance, was it? It was about the telling of a story.
Not at all.
It really, because even you got Tom Hardy in it, and what do you do when you got Tom Hardy in it? Cover his face up for the whole film, and have him in the cockpit of a Spitfire for the whole film.
Yeah.
It's just a great film. It does that Nolan thing where what you're watching is three timelines happening at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a bit weird, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but
it looked at land, sea, and air, didn't it? Which is the RAF, the Navy, and then the Army. It's a great film, and it's got our who did we forget? I've forgotten his name again. And
Cillian Murphy?
No, Cillian Murphy's in it.
Oh, God, I love Cillian Murphy.
I like Cillian Murphy as well.
So much.
Who are you talking about? Are you talking about the director?
No.
Who are you talking
I'm
about?
talking about the guy that we forgot his name 2 weeks ago when we talked about him being in the BFG and Mark Rylance. God damn it, I'm redeeming myself. Mark Rylance. It's got Mark Rylance in it as one of the guys who goes over on the boat to bring our boys back. I just thought it's good. It's got Charles Branner in it as well, isn't it? Chuckles.
Yes.
Who played Poirot in Murder in the Orient Express recently.
No, it was a very good film. I really enjoyed it.
So did I. I thought it was brilliant.
Really like Cillian Murphy's like shell-shocked. He gets picked up by Mark Rylance. Are we spoiling this? No, I don't want to spoil this actually. I'm not going to say because it's one of those scenes that I thought was quite harrowing. You know, what someone will go to and what they'll, you know, you're supposed to think he's a coward, but he's not because surely that situation.
Yeah, one of the things I really thought was interesting and really kind of emotional in it is after all that they've been through and their biggest worry is when they come home, they're going to be, you know, shouted at or they're going to be hated by the public and stuff. And actually they're received as being heroes and that kind of thing. And you know, I never thought of that in the film, you know, that part of it. And I thought actually it just had a really good finish to the film, you know, really, again, like you said about BlackkKlansman, you kind of wanted to go away from that and learn more about it and talk about it. And great film.
Would you, if you was going to go on a bit of a war binge, obviously you'd watch Saving Private Ryan, you'd watch stuff like, would you put this in that for yourselves?
I wouldn't.
No, I would put this back to back with Churchill.
Yeah?
The one with
Darkest Hour.
Darkest Hour, with Gary Oldman, I'd put them two back to back.
Yeah.
You easily watch it as a double feature.
I would never think of this as a war film. I think this like is a really horrible, not a horrible bad, as in like a really horrible, gritty drama, like just dealing with it. Like the opening half an hour is just two people trying to get on a, you know, like cheat their way onto like a medic boat.
Yeah.
And it's that sort of thing. It's just
like a brilliant thing that Christopher Nolan films doing is build tension up, which we talked about before about the score doing that.
Yeah, of course.
So the score,
they do something weird. The score in it is brilliant, but at the same time, it's the lack of music at certain times that you find quite eerie.
It's just a kind of ticking clock sound, which gives the importance of, like I say, getting them off that beach before. Before
I love that film.
Yeah, definitely Vault contender. I think put it in the Vault.
Michael Caine's brilliant.
What would you say, Vault Boys?
Yep.
Michael Caine in his
one line.
He talks over the radio, doesn't he?
He says, "Go get them, boys."
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Sure he does. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's definitely the one who speaks to Tom Hardy right at the beginning, and you're just like, yes, it's a prequel to The Dark Knight Returns.
Fantastic.
Rises.
Right, so it's in the vault then, boys.
Good stuff.
Yeah, fantastic. Well done.
Any other business?
No, we've smashed it today, boys.
Not for me this week.
All right, let's close the episode at 1 hour and about 22 and a half minutes. If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Tatty buys.
See you later, boys and girls.
Fucking hell, guys. I think that was really, really fucking good.
James, we weren't swearing in this episode.
Why would you swear, you absolute lollipop?
Jesus. Barrel.
But honestly, you off so much. You are the worst I have ever met.
It's like that car park and you
every time you